Hello everyone, it's Brenda with Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque, and welcome to our painting live workshop on Thursday, November 21st. So we have some changes tonight because of all our choppiness with our internet. I'm at Courtney's house, which is about an hour's drive south of me. So after work I headed straight to Courtney's, and we're here and we have our new camera set up. Hopefully it works out. We'll probably be making some adjustments with the angles and whatnot as we go here tonight or between now and next week, seeing how tonight goes. We're hoping that the video is good, not choppy, and hopefully the voice is good as well. If we have problems with the voice, we'll be getting a different microphone. That'll be the next thing. So hoping everyone's had a good week. Hope you all got your boxes and you're ready to paint. So we're going to work on our vintage Christmas, and we're going to start with our tree tonight. And this is what the tree looks like done. And then here is our base that goes with our tree, and we will do the wiring of that on camera also. So that's our base. And the little light kit and everything came in your box. So I'm going to set this guy aside. So you had your tree, the base, and then we also had the truck shelf sitter came in your box, and I didn't open them just because I wanted to show the box wrapping, how it comes. So that was our truck shelf sitter. Then we also had a truck with a tree ornament, and the truck with the tree ornament will look like this when it's done being painted. The truck shelf sitter is packed up in our show box, so I don't have that tonight, but we'll have that for you next week. Then some of the extras that came in the box, one of the things was the light kit for your tree, and that was a gift from Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque for you guys trusting in us since we went live in July. So that was our little extra, kind of a big extra. We also include other little surprise supplies in our boxes. For example, this is our no fire snow that we'll use on our truck and our tree. Here is our ornament hanger that we provided, the string to hang the tree with, and we'll go through stringing that up. We also had the large pin lights for our Christmas tree and the little pin lights for the ornaments. And then we also had some glitter that we'll put on the tree and on the truck. And then another big extra that we had was our brushes. Each month since August, we've been including a round brush and a flat dry brushes. So this is how they come. So you can see for the $49.99 you get more than just the bisque. So I'm going to actually open these brushes so I can add them to my brush bin. Courtney's laughing at me, so that's I'm commandeering the brushes. Yep. So we have a little instruction sheet, instructions to wash your brushes out because there's sizing in them, and then let them dry. So all our brush packages come with that. And then here's our brushes. So this month we had, as I threw out the thing already, let's see, what size do we have here? We have a 8 round and a 3 flat. So next month you'll be getting the last 2 brushes for the set. So you'll have, if you've been subscribing all along, you'll have a set of flats from 0 to 10 and a set of rounds from 0 to 10. So that was the extra that we provided as part of our subscription box. And then this wire that's in your box we will use to string the truck ornament. So don't lose that, because we'll use that at the end when we put the string through the hole. So keep that guy handy. So I had started base coating my tree, and you could have base coated it in black or a nice dark green. I used the black, and now that I'm up to this far, I wanted to show you how to do that. But you also want to go back and tip it. You can see the little white fleas come through, so you want to go back and touch that up. So I'm just using my Doc Holiday Black, and I just want to touch that up and brush that out so we don't have any white spots anywheres. So So hopefully the camera angle is going to work out here. We're going to change it so it's overhead more, but we'll have to do that. We have to adjust our stand that we have. So hopefully tonight it works out that you can see well enough. So I just want to turn him and try to turn him, keep my big hand out of the way. And you want to get these undersides, and I just want to get rid of all my little black spots because you don't want to see those. And we'll turn him some more. And you want to look from all your different angles to make sure your base coat is covered really well, because those little black spots, little white spots always seem to pop up. So I guess let us know if you guys think that the video is better, or the live feed is better than it's been the last 2 times. Courtney has fiber optic internet, where I'm more rural, so I don't have that. So we're hoping that and the camera solved the choppiness issue. We want to make the videos of value so that they're worth watching, because if you can't understand and everything's getting chopped out, it's no good. So now I'm just finishing up my base coating on my top part of my tree, and you just brush back and forth like you're painting. And you also want to get in your little tree hole lights. You don't want that white showing through, because that'll be really noticeable. If you have an older raggedy brush, that usually works good for the holes too. And I'm just going to turn him and just base coat. You just brush back and forth, brush out your paint so you don't have puddles and rivers. And then we'll go in our hole and get that covered with the black, because otherwise that's going to stand out. And I'm still looking for white specks while I'm doing that. And you could have done a dark green also would work if you didn't want the black. The way I paint it, that's just one option of probably many options of ways to do it. This is just one of the ways that I did it, and tried to use the least amount of colors on the boxes and reuse colors from month to month. So looks like we got just about all our little white speckles done, but every time you turn it, a couple more seem to show up here. So we'll keep turning it and make sure we're good. So I guess let us know if you think the quality is better or not better. So Courtney's actually has us hardwired to her desktop computer, and then that's hardwired to the router. So we're not like streaming over Wi-Fi, so hopefully that is also going to help. And then we have the new camera as well, so hopefully all those little things have worked out. She does have a backup plan, but it's kind of a lot more expensive, so hopefully this works out for now until we get more subscribers, and then the plan is to go to the backup plan. But we kind of need to gain a few more subscribers yet. But we're slowly growing, so that's great. So that's looking pretty good. I'm not seeing any white fleas anywheres. I want to look at my very top. Now these do not have the star hole in them when they're so tiny like that. They like to crack when you poke them through. So I usually just put some snow on the top, and that kind of disguises that there's no star in it. But you'll see mostly the smaller sizes don't have the star in them. The bigger ones actually have a piece in the mold, like a little Allen wrench that's in there that keeps the slip from going in there. And then I want to look down at it and make sure all my little holes are not white and bright. I want them with the black as well.
It's in the mold.
It's a attachment in the mold, yep. It's like a little Allen wrench at the peak. And you have to remember to take that out before you take the molds apart, otherwise you tear the top of the tree off. Guess how I know that? I did it. So it's kind of a lot of different little things to remember. So after the first one, you remember. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to just set him aside and let him dry. And I'm going to wash out my brush. And I just have some water in the bowl. And then I'm going to grab our bottom. And we can base coat that. I won't do the black on the holly leaves just to show you the difference of doing the darker color base coated first, and then I'll do the silver on our the other part of the base. So I'm going to use my Duncan Ultra Metallic Silver UM956. So hopefully you can see that. It's kind of nice. I can see Courtney's desktop from here, so I can kind of see what I'm showing you guys better than my little tablet. So hopefully that works good. I can't see who's on or not on though. It's a little far for that. That's okay. So now I got my silver here and it looks a little lumpy. So
what are you doing?
I just mixed it up and kind of mushed it down onto the foil, and that kind of like mixed it up better. I probably should have shook it a little bit better. So just like everything, including the tree, you always want to do your bottom. You always want your bottom to look nice. So I'm just brushing back and forth, typical base coating, painting. I don't want rivers and puddles in there. And I actually do go up on that rim on the inside just a little bit. I just like that neatness. So something looks really nice when someone picks it up and looks at it. And so now I'm going to brush out back and forth. And the ceramic formulated paint does kind of level itself a little bit, but you don't want a big, I'll show you, like you wouldn't want big puddles and bubbles like that. You want to brush it out so it's nice and smooth. And I'm just going to turn it and brush it out. So it looks like it's coming through pretty good. Is anyone saying anything? It's good or not good? Shirley says it's good. Thank you. So as usual, it was a busy week here. Week came really fast. Actually, the last 6 weeks. Because I usually get my hair cut every 6 weeks, and it was time to get it cut last night, and thought I had like 2 weeks to go yet. So. So now I'm trying to hold this without touching my silver paint on the bottom. If you had a turntable, you could set it on there too and spin it. And this hole I want to get silver too. And then I want to brush it out so there's no lumps. And you could do this any color, wouldn't have to be the silver. I just didn't want to do it in another color of green because we already have the holly that's green, and then we have the tree that's green. I've seen a lot of them done with just the plain white, which is pretty too. And if you have access to the kiln, all the greenware is Bisque fired to cone 04, so you could put a glaze on it and fire it. Yeah, that would probably work too. Courtney's saying the rubber metallics would probably look good on the base too. They probably would too. No.
Do they sell an acrylic color pearl?
I don't believe so. I'm just going to shake this paint up a little bit more here. There is a, oh, it doesn't want to shake up. That's brand new. There is a white mother of pearl, but metallic, but you can't hardly tell that it's like rainbowy at all. So I'm just brushing out our silver. And again, I want to get in my hole so it looks nice and neat. And then I'm just holding it with my hands down in there. You can kind of see I'm kind of touching more on the inside than on the ridge, so I'm not really in the paint. So I'm pouring our snowmen for our next box. No, I didn't, because I meant to have them painted tonight to bring, but I just didn't have enough time. I should have brought the Bisque though. You have a picture, right?
I can post it tomorrow.
Courtney can post the Bisque picture. I will get them painted hopefully tomorrow night or Sunday, and then get them to her so she can. We'll have to do our unboxing video. We're a little behind because we actually wanted that always done by the 20th, but with working and craft shows, it's just been a little too more than I can keep up with, which is a good thing too. But it put us behind on the getting them poured, and we didn't get the molds. The molds came late too, so it took. They had to dry before I could pour them.
We're on track though, because we bought extra.
Yeah, we bought extra molds, so I mean they'll be ready. They're going to be ready for their shipping in time. I have probably 2/3 of them poured. I just have to get them cleaned and fired next. So now I'm just going to button my silver up to my where the green holly leaves are, and I'll probably switch to a smaller brush here. So that's what I'm going to do. And let's see, we'll use our Royal Majestic 504595, and it's just a nice little liner. And I like to, because I'm going to try to edge up stuff, I'm going to take my liner and draw it through my paint and turn as I do that. That gets a nice point on my brush. Now I'm going to gently lean onto my piece and butt my paint silver up to my green, what's going to be the green. And I'm just gently touching my paint though. I don't want to take it off. You actually probably could have done this part first and then base coated the rest of it in the silver. So let's see, can you see what I'm doing? I'm just butting up my silver to where the green leaves will be. You could do the green leaves first or do the silver first. It's up to you. This is just a nice budget-friendly liner. And I think Courtney has them on the Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com page.
All the brushes there.
All the brushes are on there. We have the Duncan paint on there. We have some Bisque on there. We're trying to get more, but not quite enough time for that either with orders going on. Actually, I'm closed for orders, but I'm trying to get orders done that are ordered. So I'm just going to line this out. We were just talking about next Thursday because it's Thanksgiving, if we should or shouldn't paint. I think we're going to paint just so we stay on track. You don't have to watch live though. You could, if you're busy with Thanksgiving, it'll be saved on Facebook and on YouTube, so you can go at your convenience and watch and paint, and you can still send messages with questions. We'll still answer them. So I'm just brushing this out. So we usually have Thanksgiving at noon at my parents' house, so we should be fine with doing it at 7. Courtney's going to check with Jason yet. So we'll have to post. We'll post that. I guess if we're definitely going to, but it looks like we're going to. But if you can't watch and you're busy with Thanksgiving, please enjoy your families and just watch when you can and paint when you can and enjoy it. It's kind of the fun part of this, is that it's saved and you can do it at your convenience, but yet you can still message us for questions and we'll still get to you and answer them. So I'm just brushing that out. Doesn't take a whole lot of the silver. It does a nice coat. One coat. Maybe a little touch up. The tree should go pretty quick tonight. The trucks are a little bit putzier. There's a little more lining out and painting the windshields and the headlights and the bumpers and all that. But it's not bad. So I gotta make sure I look at the computer up there screen so I can see that you guys can see me. And it looks like you can. So hopefully it's clearer and not choppy. I'm just painting it out here. We're almost done actually with it already. This part of it. And if you get a little silver on your green, that's okay, because we'll be covering it up with the green. So let's see what else is going on. We are going Saturday to look at some molds, excuse me. And that'll be a 2-hour drive. So hopefully we get a few. We usually look for penguins, snowmen, wildlife, just cutesy things, Christmas things, other holiday things. The one thing I haven't really got is any of the mystical or dragon type things, so I don't know if that's something we'll watch for or not. So I'm just doing like another extra little coat where I was doing my lining it out here, detailing it out. And I think Courtney's working on something for Black Friday, but I don't have the details because we haven't even had time to talk about it. But I think there might be something going on, right?
We're winging it over here.
Courtney says we're gonna wing it this year because we're
Overwhelmed.
We're a little overwhelmed, but that's great. It'll be better next year because hopefully I'll be doing this full time if we keep growing just a little bit more.
Can you show them the silver paint again?
The silver paint, didn't want to see the bottle?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have the Duncan Ultra Metallics.
So it's different than the big slime though.
Yes, it's a different, it's not their baseline coat paint, it's actually a metallic. There's like a shine to it, and they do cost a little more. So it's just silver. They have silver, gold, copper, bronze. There's about 6 of them, 9 of them.
Yeah.
They do come in some colors too.
Red, green, and blue.
Red, green, and blue, Courtney says.
And we're gonna order more the next time we order.
And we did include the color guide last month in their boxes, right?
October, I think.
In the October boxes, if you looked in your flyer where your flyers are, you should have had a Duncan color guide, and they should be in there also. So you can use that for a reference too. So make sure you looked in your little flyer in your inventory sheet. It has that was the other thing you guys get with your packages too, is the colored flyers, if the molds have them. Otherwise I make one up, and then you also have an inventory sheet that comes, and in that last month would have been your Duncan flyer would have been in here with the colors. So that's another little extra that comes in our subscription boxes, just another little thing we include is the flyers and then the inventory sheet. And then all of our little packages, Courtney actually has numbered and what they are, and that matches up with the inventory sheet. So that can be helpful to you also. Oh, that was actually separate, wasn't it? Or was it it was in here, right?
No.
Oh, So Cardi says this was, it was actually in its own separate container. So it's the non-fired products, and it
came in the October box.
it just came in the October box. So it's got your sealers in here, the brush-on sealers, and then the Bisque stains with all the colors and the numbers. And then here's the metallics right over here. So the No Fire Snows. And then they have some other sealers, or this is Thin and Shade and Brush Cleaner, and their brushes. The gloss sealer bottle you would have gotten in your September box, but Courtney has it on Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com too. But this was in the October box. So hopefully you caught that and saved it. So that's looking pretty good. And I washed out my little brush here. And now I'm going to go to my, I'm going to go right to the Christmas green for the holly leaves. I don't want it the same, completely the same as my tree. So this is our Duncan OS 488 Christmas green. And you can use whatever colors you want, but this is what I'm using. And I'm going to use that on my holly leaves. And I'm going to start with my little liner brush again, and I'm just going to outline my holly leaves. Hopefully you can see this. I'm just going to bring it to the silver. And then you want to brush that out so you don't have lumps. So there's always different ways and different colors to do what works for you. You don't have to do what I do. There's no law saying you have to paint it the way I paint it or with the colors I used. You don't have to do that. Those are just a good starting point, and hopefully they're good colors. They're usually colors that are popular for the things that I sell, so they shouldn't be too ugly.
Unless they're clown painted scarecrows.
Courtney says unless they're clown painted scarecrows. Oh, I'm never going to live those scarecrows down, you guys. I didn't think they were that bad. But anyway.
They weren't my cup of tea.
Courtney says they were not her cup of tea. Let's see, what else? We're working on next year's boxes. We have the extras for the first 3 months we have picked out. Instead of the dry brushes, you'll be getting some other items.
February is going to be a really good one.
February is a good one. Well, they're all good. I shouldn't really say that, but
really
it's something different. I don't know if we should, do we tell them or do we wait?
We can wait.
Do you guys want to be surprised?
I'll hold a little bit.
Let's see. They include tools, paints. It's a variety of stuff. How's that?
Yeah.
But we have to check ahead of time to make sure that we can get the supply of what we need.
Y'all are growing.
Because we're growing and we have to make sure we can get enough of each month's extra item. So they're already put aside for us. We just have to put in the order, I'm guessing in December, so we get them and then we'll have them, because we don't want to plan on it and then order it and then it's out of stock. So we do have to plan ahead for what's going in the boxes. We will have brushes though again next year. I'm not sure on the exact months yet, because everybody needs more brushes. Always, it seems. So brushes will be one of the things that will be extras, but then there will be things like tools and paint and just
something they've been asking for.
Oh, and something you guys even asked for. Oh, Courtney's going to break down and show you. Oh my goodness. I think that's going in the January box. We actually got the, I had the glazer order today, and I ordered one as the sample, and they can get enough for us. So, ta-da, ta-da. This is our January extra. Instead of the dry brushes, you'll be getting a set of 3 fall styluses. And so there's 3 of them in there, and 2 of them have different size tips, and then the one has a big tip. So I use these a lot. I use them for eyes and dots and embossing in the greenware that's wet. So this is one of our extras, and it's going to be in the January box. So
one of them, there'll be more.
So and there's other extras, but this is the extra, like the big extra that's in that box. So that'll be in January's box. It's a set of 3 styluses, and then we'll be able to use them with that box too. So it's from Royal and Langnickel, the brush company. So we do have those reserved, and that will be in our January, one of our extras in that January box. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so what do you guys think? You have to tell us, good or bad? I think it's good. You can use it for a lot of different little things, ceramic related. So especially the eyes for your dots. You can make dot patterns on things. If you're cleaning greenware, you can use those to put some detail back in. I use that a lot actually for putting detail back in my greenware. So they're not just for.
And when you engrave, right?
Yep. And like on the wet greenware, say I'm doing an angel and it says like in loving memory of, I'll use those to outline that pattern to imprint into the wet clay. So I use them a lot, especially for the putting detail back in greenware, and then for the dots and the eyes. So that should be a really good extra. That's quite useful.
It'll last forever.
Yep, and Cordy says it'll last a long time. So that's one of our extras that we planned. I hope you guys like it.
Tammy likes it.
Tammy likes it? Super. So very good. You could also use those if you're, say you have a greenware tree and all the little holes aren't punched out. Some of the little clay might be in there yet. You can use those to punch the little hole punch out. So use them, like I said, for all kinds of things. So just a handy little tools. So that's just the start of next year. So I hope that shows that it's going to be a good year. We're still putting all kinds of thought into our boxes, trying to make each one special and good. So I'm just outlining my green here yet. We got to talk about painting because that's what we're supposed to be doing. So I'm just outlining, and I'm just going around one more time so I don't see through the white through it. Making nice straight lines. I'm resting my painting hand on my piece. You could also rest your piece on the table and then rest your painting hand on your piece. That helps you to get nice straight, non-jiggly, squiggly lines. So let's see, we have January and February's molds picked out, and we have January's hopefully get here in the next week or two because they've been ordered for a while. We have the theme for each month picked out. We just don't have the molds picked out. So I'm guessing shortly we're going to have to figure out Marches so we can get those ordered.
I like your extra for January.
Cordy says you guys like the extra for January. Great. And there'll be other extras in there too, like we've had the glitter and the pin lights and all that kind of stuff. So everything has a dollar value, like the Bisque has a dollar value, the shipping has a dollar value, the extras have a dollar value. So everything has to meet that those requirements when we put them in there.
Your sister wants you to move to the right a little bit.
My sister wants me to move to the right a little bit. Courtney says I didn't want to bump the camera, but How's that?
I'll ask.
Cordy's going to ask. Okay. So yeah, we have to work with the camera angle here a little bit more, but we'll get it. Ask her if it's choppy. So I'm just going to wash that brush out and go back to my other one, wash it out. And now I can go with a bigger brush and get my green painted out. And I'm going to go right over the berries. That's okay. We'll cover them up with some red and it'll be fine. Better? Nope, I'm back over. Is it close enough?
I can't get you closer.
Well, if I put it up though, but
Next week will be better because I'll make something.
we're gonna
make a new stand.
We have a stand, but it's a little too high, so we're gonna have Jason cut it off
And lower it.
and lower it. Unless we figure out how this thing zooms. We haven't figured out how it zooms. And it's right next to me and I don't want to bump it either. So I just got some more of the Christmas green and I'm just painting it out. And we're working on getting our backup kilns hooked up. We have to have some wiring done. And then they have different receptacles on each one has a different receptacle, both of them, the big one and the little one compared to the one I have. So we have to.
She said it's better whatever you're doing.
It's better whatever I'm doing, okay. So we do have to get the wiring to them, and then we'll have to get the receptacle boxes with the right receptacles in them so I can plug them in, because we need backup in case the other one acts up.
What was arcing, right?
I think I figured out what was causing it to arc. I think two of the wires were just barely touching each other. Not quite, but almost, and it arced on me a couple times, like I had a spark on the outside. So I got that all painted in green and all brushed out nice. We'll let that dry, and we'll come back and do the red later. So I'm going to wash out my brush again. And now we are going to take our Duncan OS 544 Rainforest Green. So let's see, it's kind of opposite of what I think.
Yeah, if you hold it, it'll autofocus. Maybe hold it a little bit down further. Yeah.
So there, I hope you guys can see it. That's our Rainforest OS 544. A dark, like the Doc Holiday Lexington green would work too. So I'm going to get me a pile of that.
It's not choppy.
It's not choppy? Great. That's good news.
I think it was your internet.
I think it was the internet too, yeah, because Cordy has the fiber optic, so it's a lot better. So I have a Royal & Langnickel size 8, and is that what we had in the, that's actually what's in the, that was one that was in your box this month, but this one's probably like 10 or 15 years old. So they're good tough little brushes. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at my little guy here. I'm going to grab some green, and I need some paper towel to wipe out. I had to go to a smaller table as well. I'm used to this 5-foot table and I'm on a 4-foot table now. So I just grabbed that Rainforest Green. I'm going to brush it out. And now I'm going to take my brush and I'm just going to dry brush across it. You want to brush that out because you don't want it to go on there too quick. And you just brush across your texture. You want to go underneath as well. And we'll just get him nice and greened up here so he looks more like a tree. So So to me, it looks really black on the screen. Is that how it looks to you, Courtney, or not?
The angle, I think.
Oh, Courtney thinks it's the angle of the picture or the angle of the desktop or what?
Desktop.
Oh, she thinks it's the desktop. So I hope that it doesn't look just like a black glob, because that's what I'm seeing. Kind of does. Maybe we gotta.
When you
Should I
hold
put
it
the
this way?
which way?
The other way. Yeah.
But I can't brush over there. Then they're gonna see my hand. What if we put this one of these lights behind me more? So sorry, you guys, but we're gonna try to adjust here as we go, so we can. Well, as we adjust each time, we'll get the light so it's better. It didn't do anything. Oh, it's a delay. Okay. Because they probably can't even see that I'm putting green on. Once it gets greener, you'll probably be able to see it. Oops, I just went in the wrong green, so I got to brush my brush out here. So I'm just brushing across my texture. Courtney's kind of playing with the light as I'm doing it, but it doesn't seem to like it being adjusting at all.
There's a delay.
Oh, a delay. She says there's a delay. Remember the delay. It's probably going to just seem black until a lot of green gets on there, because they're both like the same value. And she has actual photography lights here, so I'm actually going on the bottom as well. And as I'm doing that, she's moving the light to see if anything makes a difference. She said it looks better on her phone. So I'm just brushing back and forth, kind of with a dry brush. You want lots of thin layers to build up your color. It may just be the black that's doing that. I don't know. Once we get it greener, hopefully it shows up more. So that was a little heavy there, but I'm just going to brush it out because I want it mostly green. And you can brush back and forth, or you can do little half circles or C's. And that's just, I'm going slower so you can see what that looks like. It's just like that, or you can brush back and forth. So the high part, I kind of like the back and forth, and then in this little groove, I kind of like the C because it gets down in there more. And I don't want a whole lot of black showing on my tree. I just want a little bit. So Courtney is adjusting, moving the light around here, so I hope it's helping. She says it looks like it's green on her phone. Oh, once I get more green, yeah, I think there's just so much black that it doesn't. Once we get some green on here, it'll probably be better. I'm just brushing back and forth, doing that little C stroke in the indent there so it's more green. And that was a little heavy too, but that's okay. Just brush it out. So I'm all the way around on the bottom. Now I'm going to switch up to the top. You can sit them down and do it too, and brush back and forth. But you want to go across the grain. I'm just going across my grain right out to the tips. Is anyone painting along with their trees tonight, or did you guys already paint them?
Who's keeping them and who's gifting them.
Oh, Courtney wants to know who's keeping them and who's gifting them. So I'm just brushing across my texture. I'll turn him as I go. And I'm going to go all the way around the bottom and then work my way up, and then I'll come back to the bottom and work my way back up again. I'm used to holding him in my lap, so this is a little different.
Margarita's keeping hers.
Margarita's, oh, good for you. I actually moved my Christmas decorations and I came across mine, and it's probably from 1981. I'll have to bring it next time and show you guys. It's a,
glaze it or?
You know, I don't remember. I looked at it, but I don't remember if it's glazed or dry brushed. And it's more of a spruce than this type. There's different types of Christmas trees too. I think mine is more of a spruce, where this is actually the Nowell original Christmas tree.
Do we have a spruce one?
We have a spruce one. Yep, Nowell has that too. It has more. The spruce has more rounded branches, where the traditional one has more of the peaked branches. This is more of the peaked branches.
I think like a fir one, right? Like a Douglas fir.
Yeah. So this is this mold is from Nowell. It's the new mold, although it is the original Christmas tree.
She was asking if you could do a brown or dark.
If I could do what?
Brown base coat.
You could do a dark brown base coat too, or even a really, really dark green.
That was yours, Sue. That was yours, Sue.
Oh,
Right.
oh, okay. Hey, Sue.
Gotta paint.
We'll have to get you painting. Yep, you could do brown too, or a really dark green. By the time we're done, there won't be much black showing through. You just want a little bit, just for that dimension and the shadows. Because you can see, it's not very dark on here. It looks dark on the picture, but I don't know if it's her desktop that makes it look so dark, but it's not as dark as what I'm seeing. It's very, very green. There's by the time we're done, you only let a little bit of green in the crevices. So I'm just dry brushing back and forth across your texture. You don't want to go with it, because then that'll fill it in. And you really don't want to completely fill it in. And I started from the bottom, and I'm just working my way up to the top. We'll just let that bottom dry and work up to the top. Just keep working around it. So, gotta adjust things here. They're kind of shuffling around on me. Oh, and that's way too much, so I gotta brush that out. You don't want it looking all smeary like that. So you just brush it out, even it out. So you can see it is getting greener. Oh, but the picture looks like it's getting greener as well. And I'm just going from the bottom to the top. Oh, Cordy says when she tilts her screen, she can see it better. So maybe it's just the way I'm looking at the camera. Or the, oh, she just shut the computer screen off. I can't see nothing. It's all black now. Wow, okay. That's what I get from complaining. Complaining, and she cut me off. There's no computer screen. Well, we got it back. So it's probably just her desktop that's making it look the way it looks, I guess. I hope you guys can see it clear. So I'm just back at the bottom, working my way back up to the top as that dries down there. And I'm doing the top, but we do have to turn it and get underneath there as well. This is a really good learning project for dry brushing. There's a lot of texture on here. Not a lot of colors, not a lot of detail to have to paint out. Kids, this would be a good kids project. If anyone's got kids, and trees come in all sizes, from little like was in our our first box, the Christmas in July box. We had that little tree all the way up to big trees.
That little tree is very popular.
Yep, the little tree is really popular at our craft shows. A lot of the kids just love that little thing.
I'm gonna put it in your room.
For in the room, yep, because you have the little, put the little tea light in there. People like it for on their desks, at school. It's just really a cute little tree. I believe Courtney's got those on our Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque too. As extras, I think you can order them separately.
All the July is separate.
Courtney says she's got all the July stuff on there separate, so. So if you wanted extras for gifts, you could just order them. When the bisque is in stock on there, it ships the next day because it's already poured, clean, and fired, and on Courtney's shelves, ready to ship. She does my shipping for me because she's been shipping for years, so she knows all of that.
Some days, 2 days if we get crazy busy, but
she said it's usually the next day. It could be 2 days.
we're a little busy right now.
It is the busy holiday season here. We're headed right into it head on. But if it's in stock, it ships. It's ready to ship. It doesn't need to be poured and cleaned and fired. It's ready to go. Anything that's in stock. So you can see I'm getting less and less black, more and more green, and I got all the way to the top. So now I'm going to start back down here at the bottom.
Your sister said she was just a baby when you did that tree.
Yep, she was a baby. Sleeping in a dresser drawer. She probably remembers that. Yep. She might want it, that tree. Another project I did last weekend was a turkey. He's been a pain in the butt. He didn't want to come out of the mold. I took like 3 times to get him poured to get out of the mold. He blew up in the kiln one time. I think he probably had an air bubble or he wasn't quite dry enough. I probably could have waited another day. And then I got him painted. He's an order, but he's really cool. She's going to get him tomorrow. Courtney's going to deliver it for me because she says he's cursed and she don't want to mail it. And it's kind of a local lady, so I can't wait for her to see it.
We'll post a picture.
And then once she sees it, we'll actually post a picture for you guys to see because it's really a nice turkey, and turkeys are kind of in. I think I'll do a class next year on him. I think we could maybe ship him, or is he too big?
I gotta see how he goes.
She don't seem too thrilled about shipping him. We could do a video and ship him. We do have a smaller one. Maybe we could do the smaller one.
I don't know about that.
He's nice and big.
He's huge.
He's very pretty, but we'll show a picture tomorrow after his mama gets him.
But he'd be cool bronze.
Courtney thinks he'd be cool bronze. I think he'd be cool with silver.
Oh yeah.
But he's painted out, he's dry brushed out, and he's very, very pretty. He turned out really nice. I'm really, really liking him. So I'm still dry brushing back and forth. So watch for that picture tomorrow sometime. Turkeys are kind of in. We have several. I think we have a serving dish one too, and one that's a planter with the.
You just got that one from that last national.
Oh, did we?
Like the 8-inch version of his.
Oh, she thinks we have like the 8-inch version. I don't remember. Courtney's got that all logged on inventory so we can look. But oh, Tammy's keeping her tree. Good.
There's a Sierra spruce Nowell tree.
Oh, yep, that's the one with the round leaves. I think that's what mine is actually from my original one, because I like the spruces. So I'm getting rid of all this, almost all the black, not all of it, but I want to get rid of most of it. And so I'm just dry brushing back and forth across my texture. Keep going from top to bottom so it can dry in between. So just keep going here. I wanted to get a few of these done for my craft shows, but I don't know if I'm gonna get a few of these done or not yet. There just isn't enough time in my day. I actually really like this over the black. I've done them just with the green instead of over the black, but I think it gives it a lot more depth to it. So I do like the 3 shades. We're going to go at 3 shades. Like we have the dark, the medium, and the light. So you'll see a lot of times that's what I'm using is 3 shades of color. So we'll just keep dry brushing in here till we get almost all that black gone. And then we'll have to go and do the underside as well. For next week, we will be doing the trucks. I don't know if there's anything you guys really want to do on them. Well, they both get started out the same. The one will just get antiqued, and one won't. No, they don't get base coated black at all. They will. The one of them will get painted with a thinned out black to antique it after it's painted. You could probably do your tree if you wanted, just like we're doing this tree. And then we could start on the, you could paint out the red. And then I went back and painted out the bumpers and the tires. And so you could probably do that. You could paint your tree just like we're painting it tonight. Oh, Cardi is extremely confused, she said, so that means everybody probably is. So if you want to work on something for next week, you could paint out your tree just like we did tonight. You can base coat it black, just the tree, and then do your greens like we're going to do. And then the tree would actually be pretty much done except for the snow. And then if you want, you can paint out all your red. And
you're not base coating black.
We're not base coating this black to begin with. Only the tree. You can base coat in a dark green or the black and just paint your tree like we're painting the tree tonight. Or you can wait and we can do it next week too.
Some people work ahead.
If you want to work ahead, just go ahead and do your tree like we're doing the big tree tonight, and then you can paint out your red, and you don't have to worry about being real careful where the black and the red meet, because the black will cover up the red. Same with the silver or the gray. That's actually gray, and then this is silver. But if you want, you can paint out your red, and then all that little putsy stuff is what we'll work on next week. So you could just do your tree like we're doing it tonight and then paint out your red. But if you don't want a red truck, you can paint it another color. Maybe it's a gift for someone that has a...
So both trucks get painted red?
Yep, both trucks get painted the same barnyard red. Yep.
Okay.
But when we finish them, that's where the difference will come in.
We'll post in the group.
Courtney will post in the group, she says. I think she's confused of what.
Normally you basically everything black.
Yep, no, we're not base coating everything black this time. We're trying to get you guys some different techniques of things. So now I have to get my under brushes here, my under branches. So yeah, we're not base coating the entire truck black. You don't have to do that. So you can base coat the tree the black or a dark green, and then dry brush it your lighter greens, and then paint the truck red, and then we will paint it out, detail it out, and then one of them we will antique and one of them we won't, and that way you can see the difference. Because even though it's the same red, putting that the black we're just going to use the acrylic stain, the black thinned out a little bit. And we're going to paint it on and wipe it off. It's going to make that red a deeper red.
What's the difference between acrylic and the translucent? Is that what they use to antique with?
Translucence is another type of paint. It's usually, it used to be an oil-based, and you had to use like mineral spirits to thin it and to wipe it with. Like the fashion hues are a translucent.
Is that the only way? Is there another product to antique with?
Well, you can antique with anything. We're going to antique with the acrylic stain. It's just a technique where you're putting a layer of paint or whatever product you're using on, and then you're wiping it off. If it's a translucent, you probably have to use a mineral spirit to wipe it off. If it's an acrylic water-based, you can just use water, a sponge with water in it to wipe it off.
Your sister. wants to know what if she wants a white tree?
A white tree?
Yeah. And she must really want it because she messaged me and commented.
A white tree. I would probably base coat, or I'd actually do a color wash of blue or purple, whichever hue you kind of want with your white. You could even do a green and then dry brush it. If I wanted white, I would probably go with just, I probably wouldn't go with the gray to the white. I would probably just go with white. Just dry brush it white till you get the white that you want.
How do you do like polar bears?
Polar bears, I would do with I would probably color wash them black or a dark gray, and then go to a medium gray, and then to a light gray, and then to the white. So I'm just trying to get my under branches here. This color, this shade of green takes the longest. The next two shades will go on really, really quick. It's just getting this first green on because we're covering up so much of the black. But I do like that extra depth that black gives it. And by the time you're done, there's not a whole lot of the black left, but there is some, just enough to give it more depth. Trying to keep my hand out of the way here. You could also, if you wanted a white tree, just clear glaze it white and then fire it, and you would have a white tree. You could put the low fire gold or silver on it and fire it, or the mother of pearl and fire it again. Those are pretty trees too. I don't know that she would like the gold, but.
Do they like iridescent paint at all?
Well, that would be the mother of pearl. You'd have to fire it. I mean, there used to be all kinds of pearl type paints, but there aren't anymore.
A lot, like in Martha Stewart one.
Yeah, I mean, you can use those too. Party's asking about like the Martha Stewart brand iridescent paint. Sure, you can use those.
They've added a lot.
The ceramic, there used to be a lot of pearl, like in the 80s, a lot of the pearl colors, they were the colors with the pearl, but they just don't make them no more because people don't use them, and ceramics kind of died out, and they started cutting back on supplies. And oh, well, it's hard to stay centered here without hitting the tripod. So I'm just doing my underside of my branches. I mean, the closest you can probably get to the pearls now are the metallics, but they used to have lots of pearls. So I'm just dry brushing underneath my branches. There really isn't a whole lot of texture on the underside. You don't have to worry too much about which direction you're going. Try to go across it though.
Margarita wants you to repeat polar bear instructions.
Oh, the polar bear? For a polar bear, I would probably start with a medium gray, and you can color wash it or paint it. And then go to the next lighter shade of gray, and then if you have another lighter shade of gray, real light, like a dove gray is usually pretty light, and then from that to your white. I mean, it ends up mostly white, but you just want those extra shades of color under there.
Did you take a picture of that one you did? That Coca-Cola?
Probably have a picture of one. It's probably on my phone. We might have a picture of a bear that I did as a polar bear.
If we find it, we'll post it.
If I should be on my phone, but it might not be. I'm not sure. We can post it. Yeah, that might be too old. The tablet's here, yeah. So we'll look for the. It was just a bear. It was actually a grizzly bear that I painted out as a polar bear. but I would just do like 2 to 3 shades of gray and then the white over the top of that. So that's how I do the whites. I start with the grays first. So I'm just working my way around on the underside of our branches here and getting them nice and green. And this green, like I said, will take the most work. The other two go on real quick and easy. And that's just one way of doing anything. There's always several ways of doing everything. So oh, so we got to move it back over here. So I'm just trying to get rid of more of that black, just dry brushing around and around. So hope everyone's having a good week and enjoying what they're doing, and we're enjoying painting. I'm really enjoying this. I'm glad you guys tune in and watch and let us know what you're thinking and have questions. And
if you change a light shade, base coated it with the French vanilla and dry brushed it white.
Oh, yep, that would work too. Or you could do that French vanilla and then do a gold wash on it. That would be real pretty too.
Actually have the French vanilla. You can burn it up.
Yep. Oh. Yep. So here's French. This is the French vanilla color. You could do that too and then do the white. Or you could do this French vanilla and then take your gold and paint it on there and then wipe it off with a wet sponge and just let the gold in the crevices. That would be real pretty too.
Those are next month's new colors.
Oh, okay. So Cordy brought up next month's new colors. We have 4 of them. We have these 4. Oh, whoops. there went the paint. There went the jack putts. So we have one of the new colors is goldenrod, gold. We're actually going to be doing, and then the French vanilla. We're actually going to be doing that French vanilla and gold technique on the cuddled up. So that'll be another antiquing, and then we're going to. You're using navy, and we'll do a color wash with navy, and then we'll dry brush with this light blue on the retro putts. So that's the 4 new colors, and then we'll have 2 different techniques. We're doing the color wash and the antique is currently the same because we're going to be doing it on the truck as well, but just another doing it with the metallics.
And your extras.
And this will be one of the extras. Is the sponge for your color washing, so you don't have to go and run out and get a sponge. We'll have that as the extra in the box. Try to include all those little fun things.
Can you like reuse that one?
Yep, you can. It'll get stained, but Courtney asked if you can reuse that sponge. Yes, you can. It'll get stained and crappy looking, but yep, you can reuse it. You just want to wash it out so it's nice and clean. So it'll appear clean, but it'll be stained.
They're excited to do color washing.
Really? Everyone's excited for the color washing?
Mm-hmm.
It's just antique, basically antiquing before you paint instead of after, and using a color. It used to be a product you could get from Gare, but they quit making it, and so people loved it, and they just kind of make their own color wash. And I do about a 50-50 water to paint. You can probably do a little more paint to water. It's up to you. So we're just gonna dry brush this guy a little bit more, get a little bit less black on there. I'm just brushing back and forth. But like I said, this is a really good starter project for someone. There's lots of texture, not a lot of detail to worry about on your first piece. Like the scarecrows had a lot of detail on them. What are we doing on time?
Sorry,
It's 8:10. Courtney forgot to remind me. She was supposed to tell me when 8 rolled around. She was having fun. I'll have her painting yet.
No,
Haha. Nope, she says.
I like to base coat black.
Oh,
That's it.
I don't know. I didn't think you liked that. You sent them back.
No, when you make it do cranberry.
Oh, the cranberries, what did it? Just the black?
I like to base coat black. And not on a tree.
And not on a tree? Oh boy. Picky it too, yeah.
Like, there's all these spots you miss.
Yeah.
You think you know.
Yeah, you got to keep building it up. So I'm just going to keep building up my green here just a little bit more, and then we can go ahead and go to our next color because it'll go right on. It's just this first green that takes a lot more time than the other two. And I don't want a whole lot of black. I want it more green. So I'm just working my way around again. I'll use up the green I have out there, and then we'll go to the next color green. So you just keep turning them and brushing back and forth. You want it nice and even. Like, you don't want a lot of black up here and not much black showing down here. You want like the same amount of black showing from top to bottom. And on your undersides, don't forget to do those. So he's looking pretty good. Just about where I would like him to be. So I would say we have about, well, it's more than 2/3 green compared to the black. And it's probably more, maybe 3/4 of it's green and 1/4 of it's black showing through, just to give you an idea. You can do yours as much as you want. And you can use other shades of green too. This is just what I used for this one. So that's looking pretty good. Get the very top there too. So now our next color green is our Christmas green. And that's what we used on our base. And that's our OS 488 Christmas green. And I have a little bit on my thing already, so I'm just going to use the same brush because you want a dry brush. You don't want to wash it out. And that's like our medium green.
Are you just asking, would you do a snowman the same way as polar bear?
I like to do my snowman with a blue or a purple base or a turquoise base. I don't like the gray base with the snow because it makes it look dirty. Yeah.
It looks right on the polar bear. I just don't think it looks.
Yeah. Now I'm just going to take my Christmas green and just brush on there a little bit. Maybe have about 1/4 of it, 1/4 more. About half covered with the Christmas green. So we went from the full with the black to the 3/4 with the rainforest green, and now we'll go to about half with our Christmas green. And I'm also coming more like 3/4 out on my branches also. I'm leaving like the last 1/4 that darker green because it would be darker shadowing underneath there. So about 1/4 of the way, 2/3 of the way forward is where my Christmas green is mostly. It's more to the tips. I mean, I'll get a little bit on the back side, but not as strong as it is on the outer edge here. So you can see that this goes really quick now. So we'll just keep going a little more. I'm just brushing back and forth again across my texture. And the lighter and more thinner coats you go, the better, the softer it's going to look. I'm going probably a little bit heavier so we get done in time. So try to be done around 8:30. So it's more out to there's a little bit up there, but then there's more out to the edge. So we have just a little bit there, and now we'll get more. We'll go back and forth more on those tips. So I hope that makes sense to explain how much to do. So it's heavier with the Christmas green out on the tips than it is as it gets deeper into the tree, because more light would be hitting out on those outside branches, so they're going to be lighter. Let's try to explain why I'm doing what I'm doing. So there's just a little bit underneath there where it's the top branch is covering, and then a lot more of that Christmas green out on the edge. So lighter up under and more out on the edge. And like I'm letting that bottom dry, but then I'm going back. I mean, as I do the next layer, I'll go back and get that more so just on the edge, just to give it just that little bit more brightness yet. So hopefully you guys can see that. So we're just brushing back and forth, getting more on the edge than on the inside of the tree, just because it would be darker and a deeper color up inside it, but brighter out on the tips because that's where the light or the sun is hitting it more. We'll just keep working our way up and down. And if you want it really bright green, you can just put more of the Christmas green on it. There's no right or wrong. It's whatever you like, and everybody has a different taste of what they like. So you have to do what trips your trigger. So I'm actually really liking this so far. I'm kind of spoiled and used to the Doc Holiday colors, but it's hard to get them. So we're making an adjustment here and switching to the Duncan colors, but it's growing on me.
They cover nice.
Huh?
They cover nice.
No, they cover. I mean, they're nice. The Duncan paints is just as good as all the ceramic paints are good. I shouldn't say that. It's just that each company has different shades and colors. So, and you kind of get spoiled with, you like this certain green or that certain blue, and you don't want to use other colors. So I'm just getting it heavier on the tips, lighter as it goes up underneath the branches. And I go down and get my tips a little more, just lighten them up a little more as they dry. Just keep turning them and working my way around. I think Courtney's actually learned a lot since we started. She's not a painter, but she's learned a lot. Even with the different molds, from going on mold digs, she kind of recognizes things now. Because I know when she would first open a mold, she kind of couldn't comprehend how it would look as a finished piece, but it's kind of growing on her and she's learning it, I would say, right? And knowing that something's got parts that gotta look for the second mold for it, or the third mold, because there's parts to be added. Huh? Yep, some sets of things, yep.
Learned that the hard way.
She said she learned it the hard way. Yeah, but that's okay.
Clay magic stuff.
Yeah. So how she learned the hard way is we were at a place and there was sets of 3, like it would say frog, 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 and they were all almost the same shape of molds by the same company. But the thing was that it was 3 frogs, but each one was in a different position. And she only picked and brought one of the molds and left the other 2 because she thought they were the same mold. In reality, they were 2 different position, or I don't know how to say it, I guess positions or shapes. So there were actually 2 different frogs, and they got left behind because she thought they were the same frog, when in reality they weren't. But it's not a big deal. I mean, we still have one cute frog. Or what else did we have? A witch, I think, was one of them. There was 3 witches, and we only brought one of them. And I didn't catch it at the time that that's what happened, but it's fine. It's not a big deal because we were all in a we were all in a different area looking at different molds, so. But when you go and there's like 10,000 molds to look at, you just try to look and get what you can as quick as you can, and it's usually hot. And although Saturday it's not going to be hot. Although we've warmed up, it was like 41 today instead of like 20 and 8. So I'm liking him pretty good. I do want to get my undersides here just a little bit with this Christmas green. I don't want it to just be a stark, dramatic stop. So I do want to just get those undersides a little bit, not a whole lot, because that would be darker under there again. So I'm just getting those tips maybe about halfway with the Christmas green. So hopefully you can see that, because that would be darker under there. So you do want to let it darker, but you don't want the Christmas green to like completely stop. You do want it to come under there a little bit. And up here there's not a whole lot of branch, so that would probably have more light underneath it. So we'll get more on the top half here. So you probably want to do about half of that underside with the Christmas green, just because you want it more nice gradual change from the lighter green to that dark green.
I found the polar bear.
Cordy found the polar bear, so she'll be posting that. And I actually seen that same mold where they cut out, I usually cut out hearts or stars, but they actually cut out the bear footprints in the little squares, so I'm going to try that with one of them. It's a little more work, but it's very cute. Usually it's got like a little coat on, and then there's little squares, and I usually cut out hearts or stars, but it was a little bear footprint cut out in every other one, so I thought that was pretty cute, so I'm going to try that probably in January when I got more free time. So I'm just working my way around and getting all these tips just a little bit with that Christmas green, because we don't want it a complete stop dramatic color. You want it more gradual change. So you guys can look for her to post that. Let's see, what else can we post? We'll post that turkey tomorrow after we get that delivered, and I do have the color list if anyone has a turkey and wants to.
Yeah, Candy said she's got some that she doesn't want to conquer quite yet.
He turned out, he's really nice.
She has the Donna crackpot turkey.
Oh, those are cute.
She's never attempted making turkey.
Well, that was probably my first turkey too, but he's really, I'm kind of liking him. Kind of want to do some for craft shows.
Russell said that she has the Alberta and Riverview turkeys.
Oh, okay.
And she paints them in their natural color, but also dry brush white or fall color.
Oh, okay. This guy's I probably did him in the more natural color too, but not. It's all browns. There's some.
He looks good.
Yeah. Like the wingtips of the side feathers are the black brown, which is almost black, but then I took a navy blue and I just very lightly did the tips of those wing feathers, so you can actually see that, but it's not dramatic. It's like when you would see the turkey out in the with the sun shining on it, and you would see it. And then I did a little bit of butterscotch on the upper wings and a little bit of green on the breast, but it's not very obvious. It's just a light hue of it. So yeah. So I got my Christmas green just kind of worked around the bottom here too, so it's nice and gradual. It's heavier here and then just gets lighter as it goes to the rainforest green. So that's that. And now we will take our Mayco Limeburst SS 376, and we'll do just the very tips of our branches. And again, I'm going to use my same brush. That gives a gradual change in our color, not a drastic. So I'm working it in there. And now I'm just gonna get like the very tips, just real light. So let's see, hopefully you can see that.
Yeah.
Maybe like a quarter.
Come up to the camera. Yeah. Like
There, okay. There we go. Let's see, it was really good right there, maybe. So I'm just getting a little bit. So I'm doing the tips, but I'm also doing that very high part because the light would be hitting that like directly, but not so much over here on the side. So it's really just this high part and then your edges. Again, your high part and then the edge. And then this high part and then my edge. Or the edge and then the high part. It's just a little bit. It's not a whole lot. Because you don't want it real lime green, but you want just that little bit of, like the light is hitting it. So we got to grab a little bit and brush it out. So hopefully you can see.
Yeah, when you bring it up like
You can see it's nice and light on the very tip compared to up here. Just get those tips and then that high part. And our tip and our high part. So you can see these two colors of green go really quick. It's just that first one that takes a lot more work. But I'm really liking it. I hope you guys do too. So now we'll get the rest of it here real quick. And I need a little more. I'm just getting the tips and the edges and the high part. And as I get up to the top here, I'll do the majority of it, but just a little bit. We don't want to overdo it because we don't want it like lime green. We just want a little bit of lightness up there because the light would be hitting more of it. Did you post the picture?
You really have to wait till we're
Oh.
off air.
Huh?
I'll have to wait till we're done.
Oh, Cordy will post the polar bear picture when we're done, I guess she said.
I'm terrified I'm going to close out.
Oh, she doesn't want to close out of anything. Oh, I thought you were doing it on the tablet.
Oh, I guess I could do it.
That's okay, just leave it. And so now I'm going to get just the underside of those tips just a little bit too, just so there's nice gradual change there. And it's not much, it's just a little bit. It's because a little bit of light would be getting underneath there. So you just want to think of how light would hit things when you're painting them as far as highlighting stuff. So I'm just getting the bottom sides just a little bit. Just slightly touching it. And just turning it. So that's looking pretty good, and I'm going to look at him this way too to make sure he looks, I'm looking at him from the top down, just so I can see that it looks nice and even too. You want to look at your things from different angles always. So that's our tree, and now I'm going to grab our base, and I'm going to use that same Limeburst, and I just want to highlight my holly leaves just a little bit. I'm just brushing across them. Hopefully you can see that. Just brushing across their detail, and you can get them as highlighted as you'd like. And we'll have to do the base next week as far as wiring, and I didn't think to bring a screwdriver, and we're kind of running out of time here too. So that's looking pretty good there. And now I'm going to grab my Barnyard Red, my OS 503. And we're going to just take a drop. And it's 8:30, she says. So I'm just going to take my Barn Red and touch my little berries here. So you could use the ball stylus for this too if you have that in the future. So I'm just looking where my little round dots are to make my berries. So kind of want them a little bit bigger here, I think. You can kind of see where their little outlines are. Get these guys a little bigger over here. And I'm just using my liner brush, just a smaller brush. And we'll let those guys dry. So you would then take your tree and seal him. I use the matte sealer because I don't want it shiny, real shiny. If you wanted the little bit of shine to it, you could use the satin sealer. And then you would take your pin lights, your large pin lights, and the E6000 glue, which I brought. And so then I just use the E6000. I think there's a 527 glue. You could use that too. I don't think a hot glue would be good because the little bulb might do a little heat. So then I just take my large pin light, and actually I take my glue and I stick my tube kind of down in that hole and then touch the tip of my branch, and then I stick my light in there, and that's how you stick your colors, and then you stagger them. Like now I wouldn't put another light blue right next to that one. I would actually take another color. And you guys have more than enough pin lights because we've included extras. So, and I usually start at the bottom. So I'll try to, I'll just put my glue in there, and then you just touch it, and it makes a nice clean cut of the glue. And then you stick your little light in. And again, just stick it down in there, trying to get it so they can see it. And then just kind of touch it and take it off and put a different color.
So are these permanent then?
These are fairly permanent. You can get them out, but it's not easy.
I read a lot of people use Elmer if they do want to get them out.
So Courtney said she's read that people might use Elmer's glue if they think they want to change them out. I don't know. I usually don't want to change them out. I don't want them to get lost and out. So that's how I do it. I just take my glue, stick it right down in there, and let's see, get a different color, and I'll just work my way all the way around and all the way up. And then once those are all dried really well, actually nope, we got to back up. I did say that. Seal it first with your spray sealer. Spray it first with your spray sealer.
Oh, yeah.
No, and I use the matte. Because that way it doesn't have a shine. Then you can put your lights in, and put them all in and let them dry. And then I take my snow, which is in your little bag right here.
You don't do glitter before?
You
don't do glitter before?
The glitter goes on the snow.
Okay.
So then we take our glitter, our snow, and then our little package of glitter. And you'll have enough. We filled it up so you have plenty of glitter. And you can take a brush.
Save some for the trucks.
Yep, and save a little bit of your glitter for your trucks. You can use a brush or like a plastic, like this has like a little palette. It's like this brush has a little slanted angle on it. You could use a brush, or you could use your like a plastic knife. If you have a palette knife, you can use that. You do this once your glue is dry. And I just take a little bit of the snow on my brush, or on a palette knife, or on your plastic dinnerware type knife, or even a brush will work. And you want to put it on the ends of the brush, at the ends of the tips of the tree, wherever you want it. And you want to be careful not to get your fingers in it while it's drying. This takes a while to dry. I would leave it a couple hours. And I just like to get it on the tips of the branches. Maybe have more here, a little bit less over here. It's all kind of personal preference. You should have more than enough snow. Save some for your trucks too. And then once I have my snow on there, I'll take my little container of glitter. And I usually take like a paper plate and put it underneath my piece that I'm working. And then you can just take your little container, let me see, and just shake it onto your glitter, and then put it on right onto the snow. And if you had a paper plate, it would collect your glitter so you could keep using it. So we'll just put on another one. Hopefully you can see this. I'm just shaking a little bit on, and then I'll dip it, try to get it back in there. But if you have a paper plate, you can just dump it on your paper plate. And if you give it a little blow, it'll just be on just your snow. And then when I get to the top, I'll usually put some right on the top here. That way it doesn't look like it's missing its star. It's just that the snow's got it covered up. So hopefully you can see that. And then you can take your glitter again. Let's see. Just shake it on there. And a salt shaker works really well for the glitter too. But if you have like a paper plate, then you can dump that back in there. But now you can see the glitter's right on top of the snow there. And you don't want to touch that, because then that's going to mush that down. So you would want to let that sit for a day and let that dry.
Like a full day. Yeah,
let it for a full day or a half day, and then it'll be dry. And it'll stay puffed up. It might suck down a little bit, but not much. So that's how your tree will work. And then
you can, like, stir it or anything?
You could stir it up if you wanted. If there's a lot of water on top, you can stir it.
And it was the Duncan brand. It seemed a little more liquidy than that other.
Yeah. So then you can put some on you would seal this too with your sealer, and then you could come back and put some on your tree and on your berries here too. And then you can sprinkle them with a little bit of glitter too, and you can use your fingers too. So that's how you do your tree and your base. And then next week we'll wire him. And that's really simple. I also had pinned Glazer's how to wire the tree to the Bisque box. If you belong to the Bisque box, that's in there how to wire it too. But it's not hard. So here's your glitter. Save some for both your trucks if you want it on your trucks. So I think that's about it for our tree. If you have any questions or problems, send us a message. Messages are easier to do than the comments on the post if you have questions, because they can get buried in those posts sometimes. But if you message us, we'll definitely, we can see that it's been opened by Courtney or myself, or if it hasn't been, so if we can keep track of those easier, and then Courtney logs them so we know we follow up. If she had to ask me a question or we had to get more information. If for some reason you don't get a response within like 2 days at the max, more like a day, but 2 days, send us another message, because you fell through the crack, because we definitely try to answer everyone's questions about everything. If we don't know, then we guide you to who we think could possibly help you, whether it's a kiln person or a Glazers, that's our supplier. But I usually know everybody's can help everybody's pretty much. So that's about it. I hope you guys enjoy your traditional tree. Have fun painting it and sharing it or enjoying it yourself.
Somebody asked if we sell the tree.
We can sell the trees separate, I guess. I have some poured. I just have to get them fired.
Because the full box is a good value.
Right. So we do have some boxes yet if you wanted the whole box. That's probably the best value money-wise. Because you're getting the light kit, and the light kit's quite expensive. That was just a big extra for this this month. Plus you get plus you're getting the pin lights and the snow. But if you wanted it, just send us a message, and Courtney can take care of you, and I'll get them. They're already poured. I just have to get them cleaned and fired. So
I have one to send out.
Courtney has one that she could send out that's currently available, but we'll have more too. Just send us a message if there's something you want, even with Bisque. I have them close to 3,000 molds. We're getting close. Yeah, we're over. She thinks we're over. And we're getting some more on Saturday, hopefully. So I'm hoping for the Riverview nativity set that's like 12 inches tall. I have the 3 kings, but I'd like the rest of it. That's the one thing I'd like to look for. Probably look for some Clay Magic welcomes, penguins, snowmen, wildlife. We're going up north. It's a 2-hour drive. Looks like it was a shop before, and probably older molds, like the 80s and 90s. But yeah, we'll post pictures, Courtney said. So it should be a fun day. My niece is going and Courtney's going, so we should have fun. Hopefully find some good stuff and stuff we can have on the Brenda's Brushstrokes and Bisque.com, and stuff we can do videos and painting with, because next year I'm planning to be doing this full time. So hang in there, guys. We hope the camera and the internet problem is fixed. If it's not, we're gonna go to plan B and get it fixed eventually. So we'll work on our camera angle here. We got to get our stand adjusted for the new camera. It didn't quite work the way we thought it would, and Jason's not here to cut it down tonight, so we'll get that adjusted this week. And have a good week. If you tune in next week, we'll see you. If you don't, because you're having Thanksgiving, that's okay too. Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone, and you can always watch it when it's saved later too. So all right, goodbye. Have a nice night, everyone. Thank you.